podcast discussing all things hidden in the shadows. Okay, so y'all bear with me because I'm gonna change up my stuff around here a bit because I'm tired of seeing it look a certain type of way. So I'm trying to get my little adjusties over here. Okay, so I'm just gonna take this part out and slide this down. And I know I could probably do this off screen, but I'm trying to get my stuff together. We're gonna have a discussion today. So we all gonna have to know who I am. The living shadow. Yes, I am. Okay, okay, okay. We're just gonna do this until I get the in the mail because I gotta get more little labels. All right, all right, all right. And see, now I feel like I'm gonna need to. Let me turn this down just a smidge, just a smidge, just a smidge. Okay, okay. I don't even know if, oh, it is plugged in. Good. Woohoo! Got it going out here. All right. I'm gonna move the rest of it later. I'll just do this now because I think I still may have some of these. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, how y'all doing out there? How y'all doing out there? How y'all doing out there? This is the behind the scenes, getting ready to film a new episode of the podcast. And today I am going to be discussing ancestral respect. And by that, I may mean something different than what you mean. I may not. Who knows? We will see. Because I think I have a different take than a lot of other people. So let me get this going here real fast to start, because I record the podcast on my cellular phone here using that Anchor app. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Shadowcast, the podcast discussing all things hidden in the shadow. I am the living shadow. Let's get started. Okay, you guys, so for this episode, I'm going to talk about ancestral respect. It is Black History Month at the time of this recording, as opposed to every other month where we talk about white history. This time we're talking about Black history. Yay! What does that mean? I kind of want to discuss some things I've noticed that we may have picked up, especially in like African Americans, as like toxic forms of respect that may have come down as a form of trauma from slavery, which I know is probably not the most normal topic out there. But again, I do think it is very important to discuss a lot of these things that we do that I don't think is necessarily the best thing to do just because we're used to doing them. So I definitely want to have that discussion. I also, for those who watch the video, the Shadowcast podcast on YouTube, I got a new mic stand, so I'm all excited. And then I filmed a live on my vlog channel of me setting up this mic stand on the Debonair channel with the accent over the E for me. And yeah, so we got all that going on here. Is this being heard? Hold on, is this being heard? Okay, it was. Good. This is why I like the little microphones. I can tell everything. I press the little thing on the mic because I don't want to mess it up. Okay. So first of all, I think the biggest thing I have learned so far it's so funny now I have a little pop filter on here. It's like a little top for the microphone. I don't hear it as much, which it's supposed to not hear it as much, but it's just funny to me. I don't hear the smoke as much. I got used to hearing the smoke. Oh, and the cat. Okay, so what I have noticed mostly in this, like, I don't even know what you want to call it, like post pandemic world or whatever PTSD healing journey thing, whatever you want to go with it. Okay, black people have a messed up form of respect. And I'm not talking about black people, just talking about black people, but I'm talking about black people because we all need to, do some healing for some things. We can't just sit there and say, oh, woe is us. We done been hit and beat down, which we have been hit and beat down, which I also do want to address a little bit in this. But I don't want to just sit there and be like, oh, we've been hit and beat down, and not discuss what it is that we can do to lift our own selves up in our everyday. Okay? Um, because what I've noticed is that a lot of people have a very toxic form of respect. Like, especially the older people, they have a very toxic form of respect. Like, and I believe I have a theory that it comes from the slave master slave dynamic, way deep embedded, like deep inside people. Because black people have children. When they have children, they tend to also kind of treat that kid a little slaverish. Not always, but I have noticed people who have done that. There are people who will, say and believe wholeheartedly that the reason why they had as a kid, the reason why they had the kid is to do the chores they didn't want to do. They just wanted to have a kid do some chores. Or they wanted to have a kid to pick up after them or take care of them when they get old. It was never about, I want to have somebody, like, like it's like the purpose for having a child. So it wasn't that I want to have this kid because I want to bring life into the world and I want this life to have its own unique experiences. It's always, I want to make something that I know is going to serve me because it has to, because I made it. It's like that. That's what these people like have kids with that ideology, and I don't like that. I also feel like there's a certain form or a certain ideology that they have around respect, and by what the ideology that seems to me to be, is actually very, very toxic. So what it shows the ideology is that do whatever the fuck I say, however the fuck I say it. Don't question me, just obey. That was the big thing for my granny growing up. Obey. It was not. It's not. I'm gonna ask you. It's just obey me. Obey me now. Obey me. From very young, she came at me like that. Obey me. But that's one. I don't think that's a very healthy form of raising a kid. Just straight up obey me, no matter whatever I do, no matter whatever I say. Just obey me. Like not oh baby baby, but obey me. It is in like do whatever I say, however I say it, whenever I say it, and don't ask any questions. Now looking back at it, I wonder if my granny was a dominatrix, but that's a whole other question for a whole other day. Like legit, that's a whole other thing for a whole other day. But like I like it really though, like I have noticed that in a lot of people, especially in my upbringing, and a lot of other people I've seen going around. A lot of other people I've seen like talk about, we talk about and we make jokes about how like the trauma from my parents. Oh, they used to beat us senseless, and this is that. But and sometimes people do need to be beat senseless, though. I'm not even gonna lie, because you see some of them Karen videos. But my point is, it's the whole okay. Do exactly what I say, exactly how I say it, and don't question me. That I feel like is they take the as that as showing respect when it's not. That's them dominating or commanding over something. And I believe that comes from slavery simply because the slave masters used to act like that, they you know made them do all this kind of crazy stuff, made them do this, made them do that, but not to but made them not question. And I feel like they think that okay, so now it's my turn, I'm on my own, whatever, blah blah blah. You have to do exactly what I want because I finally get my own way, so everything's gonna have to operate my own way. But it doesn't take into account the idea that okay, well, that's just reinducing the oppression that was served beyond, that's still going on. Uh, where is the letting somebody have individuality come in at? And a lot of these families and all these things, I'm not saying that everybody does this, not like that. I'm just saying that I have noticed that is a thing, especially in my own life. And I've noticed that in the people whose lives were around me. Again, I was raised, it was, I'm a 90s baby, let's just put it that way. I was in the 90s. So when I flew out here, okay, it was a different time, a different space. Different things were going on in the world. It was a whole different world. And now as I'm getting a little older, I can see how different the world's become. But I'm trying to tell y'all, these things need to change for the better. And I'm talking about how we treat people. And by that, I truly mean how we are. What boundaries are we setting? Because I've learned a lot about setting boundaries over the last few years. Okay, I've learned a lot. Okay, but I think the thing I've learned most is that people can set toxic boundaries just because it's a boundary does not mean it's a healthy one, right? So what these people have done is basically said, "Oh well, if you don't do exactly what I say, you have to get out of my, which is not necessarily 100% healthy, or like do what I say or get out my house." Or things like that. And it's like, okay, so that's not healthy. We talk about unconditional love. There's putting conditions on things. And I get it. Well, people don't unconditionally love anybody anyway. I don't believe that people do that just in general. But like, I really just I have a zero belief in that because I watch people put conditions on things lots of times, and it's just I mean I don't think unconditional. Like I think, and again, this is where I think it gets controversial for me personally in this shadow cast. But um, it is the idea to me that I don't think people really want unconditional. I think some people want to be loved unconditionally, but they don't want to love others unconditionally. So if that's the case, then how can unconditional love really truly exist if it's always going to be one-sided, and which is that give I want to receive it but not give it. And in that way, shape, or form, that matter, this doesn't um it just doesn't add up in that way. And what I'm saying is that when we talk about a lot of different deceased members or deceased people who are no longer alive, there's a lot of these different things that they have gone through that they weren't able to learn because of all these different things that have gone on. We were able to sit down and really sit there and reflect on what they have done and learn from what they have, what has worked and what's not worked. And that's one of the things to me that has not worked. This idea of obey me as respect. Like obedience is respect. That was her biggest thing, was obedience. It was, oh my gosh, I'm telling you, that was a whole other trauma and a half. Just hearing her constantly talk about obedience all the time. It was never, and the part to me that makes it so traumatizing, it's a simple fact. It wasn't that it was ever sorry y'all, I just got this mic stand, so I'm trying to figure out how this really works. But it's that it wasn't ever to me, the obedience is asking for way more than respect. That's more than respect. Like mindlessly follow me. To me, is way more than respect. But that's the error. That's the error I was raised with. Again, like if y'all want to know like my family like background, whatever, it's completely messed up. So like that's a whole nother podcast for a whole other day. We may go through that. I don't know. In case people actually want to know, if people actually care. But my point being is that there's so many different excuse me. Excuse me. There's so many different ideologies that are like that I believe come down from that sort of mentality that I don't think people have learned over time is not helpful. Um, that is probably the main one, is that respect one, because of that I feel like that so many different people are like that, just obey me straight up. And I've seen it in so many other people, so many other families. When people have done that, I see it definitely in my own family. I'm telling you, that like hurt me. Just it hurt me for the idea that to think that okay, so if I don't follow your exact rules, what's going to happen? Because I may not be able to follow your exact rules. And then they're like, I didn't want to be like they're like you're rebellious. I'm like, how am I like? I got called so many different things for just because I just don't think the way that people around me have thought. Okay, I really don't. The way these people around me are think, like the way they think, I don't think the same way. I just don't, and I'm very okay with that. Like it doesn't really bother me. It's more of a okay. So now that I'm seeing all of these things and I'm explaining all of these things, I need things to actually change. Especially now, I don't know. I'm like, okay, I'll just shut up then and watch you just ruin whatever because I seen like it's like you can see, and I don't mean to put like how do I put this like how people will get like I talked about the depression cycle before. I believe I talked about it on this very podcast, the depression cycle, where people will sit there and I'll go get like a beer and a pack of cigarettes, and it's just what I like. I don't know. I call it like just depression cycles. I guess that's really what I think of it as. Like when you really spend all day worried about trying to get $10, you can use that $10 to go get a beer and a pack of cigarettes. Like not everybody is like that, of course, but I have seen people, and that is because of the mind frame people were left in, because people were not left with a whole bunch all the time. Get shout out to that life insurance. Okay, get some life insurance. I do sell that. Uh-huh. Check my site and book that for a consultation. Anyway, but my point being is that people like if you're sitting in that cycle and every 10 minutes like you're just trying to get $10 every day to go get a pack of cigarettes and a beer, and you spend that to go get that, you're not really changing much in your life because all you're doing is sitting around here trying to co- trying to cope with something in an unhealthy way, right? But I feel like it's this mindset that's been brought on like not only does someone demand obedience to get respect, as they think it's respect to just be obeyed, but I also see it as like if someone doesn't feel good about themselves, like having someone else do whatever they say, it makes them feel better. Like just the ordering them around thing, like just an ego trip. Like it really seems like it's an ego trip, but it's like interacting with children though. I don't know, like, and again, I don't have kids, so I don't have kids simply because I don't want to go through all this shit. Okay. Like, no offense, but there's not many people who I know of, if anybody, who has a kid who is like happy with their life. And I don't mean like, see, I knew this was going to start getting to me. This little cord up here. And I don't mean like, oh, they hate their child. I don't mean that. I just mean like they're not, the child is an added struggle on their life for a lot of people. I'm not saying that it's like I don't know. I don't want to say it in the wrong way because I don't want to feel it's not that people hate their children, because I don't think people hate their children at all. I just feel like they're like okay, so they have to sacrifice a lot of things because they had a kid, and they don't. And I feel like a lot of people are not really willing to sacrifice things to have a child now, especially when we have so much going on in our own particular lives, whether it's the pandemic and the bullshit with that, the bullshit with trying to stand up for whatever rights that we need to stand up for that are getting infringed upon for whatever sector or area that we're in, and these ideologies that I feel like were brought on by them. And again, this is not all black people, but I do feel like black people are a big proponent of this because they were abused by this very same tactic and are reusing it to abuse themselves and maybe sometimes some other races as well. But usually it seems to be they use that to they have experienced this trauma and are reusing it against themselves in their like younger incarnations or younger in their children, in their offspring. They're going and saying, oh, you have to do exactly what I say, exactly how I say it. Now, not everybody is like that, but I have seen it come less and less. But the people who are like that are like getting worse. It seems like the older generation, or like the grandma generation, or the people who are just very like and people who may have passed on and things like that, like people's ancestors and things like people do people who are deceased do help them from the other side. But my point is sometimes they will help you in the way that they were, and they were like this, just do whatever the fuck I say. And so you may like, I know somebody who's listening to this or who's watching this on the video version of the podcast, the Shadowcast podcast on YouTube, will know exactly what I'm like talking about when I say these things. That that like you're dealing with people who, like, say if you used to hang out with, I don't know, your great grandma or your great grandpa or something, and they had a certain way of doing something, and you see something kind of pop up, and you get your little signs and signals, and you start feeling some kind of like frustrated energy or whatever, it's because they probably, for the most part, want you to do this exact thing exactly the way they want you to do it, and you're not, and they're still trying to like puppet you from the other side. That's the thing I'm trying to like really get like across the board here, you know. And I see how that will affect a lot of people, because a lot of people are not willing to just do whatever someone else wants. A lot of people are about their individuality these days, and that's a good thing. We're not all droning around being like whatever mindless mind. I call them drones. I still say drones. I like a robot drone, like mindlessly doing a singular task. So that's what a lot of these people did. It was these singular tasks. And I the more and more I'm trying to even understand who the hell thought that was a good idea. I like, you know what I mean? Like, who thought it was a good idea to have all these people, and it's like really it's like people are the old robots. Like the old robots, like these bodies are like the old robots in a sense. And I'm probably gonna sound really, really weird to y'all, but listen to me when I'm saying this, okay? Um, like imagine the body, right? Is some sort of like, you have muscle, you have muscle memory. You're like, if you are on the shop or whatever, right, and you're used to like bending a certain type of way, doing this, the same thing that they have robots do today, or a lot of things these people do, right? Your muscles will remember you taking the same action. Like, and I used to make burgers, okay? I used to make burgers at Wendy's. I used to make burgers at McDonald's, okay? It was so easy and robotic to just make a burger because you get so used to it. Your body can remember how to make, like, I can make that junior bacon cheeseburger real fast. That meal, tomato, lettuce, cheese, and bacon. Slap it all on there, boom, boom, boom. Look, it sounds like I worked there forever, and I worked there for maybe like a year and a half. Make it seem like I worked there for so long. That was a lot of damn burgers, though. That 4 for 4 was too damn popular. But my point is that that's not like, if we do that all the time, we know that we know we're doing that. We know we get that robotic life. We know we get stuck in something, right? Now, some people do like the stability of being stuck in something. Other people may want the stability of, like, I want the stability of the paycheck, but not the stability of actually like flip or making that burger. Unless I'm going to be eating the burger, I didn't want to really sit there and make that burger. I just wanted the paycheck. I think if I could just sit there and get the paycheck, I would just sit there and get the fucking paycheck. So, I mean, I'm just gonna be real fucking honest with you, 100% honest with you. Okay, but when my point, when I'm getting to the respect thing and the ideology thing that we have had for a lot of things, I think that it is definitely. I think it's difficult to break these habits, and when I say it's difficult to break these habits, it's because a lot of people don't want to admit when you point it out to them. Like, if you point out to someone, okay, you're not asking me, you're demanding me to do something. You're not asking me, oh, can you help me with this or can you do this? You're demanding me do this thing for me. or do this the way I want you to do it, or I need you to do this right here like this, and you don't even like it without giving somebody an option. And I get it that sometimes people want that stance to take that power, to that control, and to be about that. But a lot of times, like I noticed that my mother would do. I told her when I was a little kid, she used to do that to me all the time. Like she doesn't ask me for anything; she just tells me, or she just points, or she would do like super super manipulative, like trying to train a dog. Like she kept acting like I was her dog. Really. As I hit the blunt again. Take a drink for every time I puff. I should have started out on this podcast a long time ago. Take a drink every time I puff. Y'all be drunk and I'll be high and we all be great over here. But really though, like, what about these these ideologies that these people come up with, or these people have when it comes to certain things, like their expectations, their, I guess you would call it grandiosity. I guess that would be like, it's one thing to and I do have a podcast episode called talking about narcissism. And I do want you guys to listen to that. It's go back. It's not on the video versions. It's only an audio version of narcissism. That's when I recorded this. That was like a couple of years ago at this point now. But I talked about narcissism and the different parts of it, right? A lot of it is that grandiosity, and a lot of it is that entitlement. And there's a lot of like pride and entitlement that come from a lot of older, and I will say there's a lot of older black people. They do, like, you'll see them not wanting to carry their cane, or not wanting to go to the doctor, or not wanting to really like tell the doctor what's really going on with them. Now, not everybody does it. There are some people who don't, but you see like the sticklers, the old bitter ones, and y'all know what I'm talking about too. And they will like, I will sit down with couples, and one will sit there and tell me like, oh, this one's the bitter one who don't want to, really ever like check up on themselves, and this one's the one who like, it's like they prick their finger, they run to the doctor. Like they will tell you though, so you will see those type of people, right? And a lot of these people have these ideologies, like they won't let, like, you can't see me. I don't even know how, like, the best way to put it. Like, you can't see me. Ooh, excuse me. Now, I don't want to say being soft, because I don't feel like being soft is the correct answer. But it's like, you can't see me being, I guess, like, actually low, or like having an issue. It's like too prideful to let someone see them having an issue. And it's like, you may not want somebody to see you having an issue all the time, but of course, at some point in your life, someone's going to see you have an issue. You know what I mean? Like, especially if someone is like trying to get famous for whatever type of reason, whether they are or not, whatever. But especially if you're trying to get famous, someone's going to see you like in some kind of negative light. That's just going to happen. Like, don't try to act like it's never going to happen. Okay, but if you are like, and I feel like these people were really like that. Like, I was raised by people who were so afraid of being seen as being negative that they've turned themselves completely negative, if that makes sense. So it's like, I'm so afraid of being seen as the bad person that now I've become the bad person, trying to hide being seen as the bad person. Have y'all ever seen How to Get Away with Murder? That's a great show. Shonda Rhimes, shout out. I don't know her, but it's a good show. And I watched Scandal too. But it's that idea that, okay, they did something by accident, and all of a sudden, like, but they keep like trying to cover it up to the point where now they just then turn to whole different people trying to cover up the accent that they did, that they feel like accidentally might have changed them, or they're questioning, is this, what does that say about me as a person now? Am I this? Am I that? But then all the actions, like, well, really the whole thing was not the initial accident, is what they did after that. You know what I mean? And I say that like I'm thinking, and this is again more of a white people against black people story than but I am trying to be balanced with this, but it's that like, okay, so they saw DeMonterio, right, the FedEx driver. He got basically they hunted him down, chased him down, hunted him down in a FedEx truck. They said he looked suspicious delivering packages at his job. So my thing is, okay, if he looks suspicious, like the first thing I would do, thinking, okay, if I really wanted to find out, was just ask him straight out. First of all, I mean, you could also call FedEx and see, does this person work here, or whatever else. You know what I mean? But they went straight to, oh, this person looks suspicious. We gotta go kill him. But do you see, like, what I'm saying is that these people are not like their thoughts. They go to such an extreme, and I feel like a lot of that is brought on, especially from that slavery mindset for blacker people. Now, of course, that story was not a black person having an extreme reaction. That was, of course, the story of a white person having an extreme reaction to, like, in a similar fashion of thinking that I guess a black person existing, working in their area cannot be possible when it really can, and they're just attacking on site. But again, it's that I don't understand these ideologies that people are still having, like, and I know it's somewhere in like the back of their mind, like it's like that gut, it's like instinctual, These are things that are not like, these people didn't think. These people were not using their logical center of their brain. They were not using their common reasoning. They were not using their critical thinking. They were not using their superior cognition. They were not using any of these things. Okay, and my point to say is that why do we automatically go to just this mental block, right? I think about this mental block energy. Ooh, hold on. Ooh, hold on. Now I know I said something right because my phone fell down and everything. I know I said something right. Hello. How do we get to this mental blockage energy? How did we get here? How did we get here? And a lot of these things, I feel like can be avoided or prevented with more critical thinking. I think a lot of people have come to acknowledge that in life. When I was growing up, we kept being told that math and science, this and that. Ugh. And I find it so funny that now we have all these people who know the math and science, and we go, and those people, and the same people who said you better learn the math and science, are like, don't listen to them. We don't know what you talk. You don't know what y'all talk about. This has been this old way before. This is, I'm like, but didn't you tell me you wanted me to be better? And well, you wanted us to learn. Well, you didn't learn because y'all didn't learn the math and the science and the arithmetic. But then here we come with the arithmetic. And I done learned the arithmetic. I done learned the arithmetic. I learned reading, writing, arithmetic. I learned all of it. So why don't you listen to me when I'm speaking to you with the truth? And it's not. And again, I'm not saying it's always black people or it's always that. For Black History Month, there is something I've seen in our black history that we need to be addressed. Is the ideology that we just have to be obeyed. And I do feel like we need to be listened to, absolutely. And I know that and I also understand that with the current landscape that we are in, and the current mind frame a lot of people are in, that commanding of respect is needed for some people who don't automatically give it to you. But for a lot of people, when they get it, or they start earning it just through their good deeds, they still come off with that ideology of like demanding it from someone that they already receive it from. And that really rubs me the wrong way. Like, okay, well, you respect me, don't you? It's like, yeah, I respect you. So then why aren't you doing exactly what the fuck I say? And it's like, okay, well, maybe because I don't, that's not the same thing as respect. Just doing exactly what you say is not, that's just obedience. That's just straight up you trying to just control me. That's not guiding me. And again, I do have a guidance versus control episode of this very podcast. You know, you can always listen to that as well. That is an audio only version, I do believe. I don't believe I had video for that. I don't know. I've been doing this for a while, y'all. I just realized. I've been doing this for a little while. I started off in my little apartment. And I'm sitting over here with my mic stand. Pop, pop. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But I do want to thank everybody for listening and everybody for watching. I love this little thing. And the other thing I said I want to talk about, what's the other thing I said I wanted to talk about? Because I really feel like that kind of like really hits on the respect thing that I was really trying to make. Cause I think y'all really will get my point. The people who are listening to this now. There is, it is needed at some points, but at some points I feel like it gets overused. And especially in these communities, we tend to think, I think a lot of people tend to think that their older is wiser, or, older just means older. Older does not mean wise. Older does not mean more intelligence either. There's some kids who can learn some things quicker than some adults. And I feel like a lot of older people have a huge problem with, and you see them, and you see, there will be the proud ones. They are very, very proud to show that off. It's like, it's funny, like the thing I've noticed with narcissists in general, narcissistic people in general, is that they're very, very proud to show off their flaws. Because they're so busy not even seeing them as flaws, they're very, very proud to show them off. It's a little bit like, as I not really wake up, but as I pay more and more attention to people, it's so funny because like people really do show you who they are a lot of the times, They really, really do. So, you'll see these people, and again, if we want to name like politicians, look at that Congressional Black Caucus. That's one of that's like these are the type of people who I'm talking about, where they get their stance, and their stance doesn't change, and they just want everybody to understand and obey whatever their stance is. And then they go, well, we know what's best because we've been having the same stance for years. And I'm like, okay, and we still have problems for years, so clearly your stance is not working. If we still have had the same problems. So understand that you have to change your stance in order to maybe solve the issue, or at least be able to change your view or listen to somebody else say something. At least be willing to listen to somebody else say something. Too many of these people are so busy trying to keep things the way they were, or like so trying to demand that everybody just follows whatever rule that they have, that they don't see how the rule can be improved, or they won't let it be improved. I think that's it, y'all, for this. I don't know. I wanted to talk about something else in this episode, but I can't honestly not remember what it was I was going to talk about. Because I was going to talk about something else with black people as well. And for those who are wondering, yes, I am black. If you look at the video of the podcast, the Shadowcast podcast on YouTube, I said it a couple times now. Y'all should know by now. Write it down in your little notebook. Type it in your little phone. Hey Google, subscribe to the Shadowcast podcast. Alexa, subscribe to the Shadowcast podcast. Okay, now I'm probably pissed y'all off. Ah! Oh Lord, even my Google popped up. See? Oh, this is one of the fun episodes, y'all. This is just the fun episode. This is the fun episode. I had the serious one the other day. Yeah. I think that's it. I'm gonna come back with a couple more, but I really want to like have these be specific for this respect one. So I'm gonna stop it here. Ooh, yep, that's the whole sign. Thank you again for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you. Please check out my website, thelivingshadow.me, where you can find everything about me. You can find the shop for you to get your assassin apparel, your spiritual cleansing products, my booking link where you can get a personal reading, a Reiki healing session, or a shadow coaching session. I am offering all those. And do check out my YouTube channels, especially this one where the video is on for the video of the podcast, the Shadowcast podcast. You can look at the Living Shadow. There's also Living Shadow Tarot for my readings, and Shadow Subliminals for my sound healing art making I've done, and the Debonair channel for my vlog channel. You can see me putting together this mic stand I have for my new mic. Well, it's the same mic, but I got a stand now, so I can like crank it around. Feel all official. Gotta feel all official. Anyway, I do want to thank you all for supporting and participating in everything that I'm doing here. Whether it's just listening to this podcast, watching this podcast, or if you're on everything and stalking me like a crazy person. Thank you. Please continue. Just don't be creepy. But just watch me. But don't be creepy. But watch me. But don't be creepy. I'm having a day, y'all. Thank you. Be blessed. And remember, we are the Assassination. Bye. Okay. Respect Black history. And then people are gonna act like it's a whole different thing. See, I hate using a clickbaity title, but at the same time, I feel like I need a clickbaity title, and otherwise nobody will really listen, and I need people to listen. But at the same time, I don't want to fake people. Like, I don't want to like make people think I'm gonna be saying I hope like going off about people not respecting Black history, because I feel like a lot of times Black history is getting more respected now. It's getting mutilated, but it does get respected. And this is why y'all need to be watching the video, man, for the people who watch the video, because I just keep on talking. Yes, I'm a weirdo. Subscribe. Thank you for watching. I do not have a set schedule for these, so who knows. But I want to thank you all for watching, and be blessed out there. Bye.